Pecco Bagnaia, a factory Ducati 1-2 with his teammate Jack Miller on the front row with Joan Mir. Fabio Quartararo, there he is, the world champion, going from the head of the third row in 7th, joined on that row through Alex Rins, who was running so strong here back in April, will go from 11th place. Never take your eyes. Now he's going to be charging through from 13th place on the grid. Miguel Oliveira, of course, as well. What can he deliver? 17th, the Red Bull KTM factory racing rider. A lot of work to do for him. He starts alongside this man.
Here today in front of 28,000 Portuguese fans. Let's go down onto the grid then. We saw Piero Taramasso think of the rider's decisions. He's with Simon in pit lane.
Piero, many people say, please give us your thoughts.
Yes, the track conditions are quite good. We have two specifications, they work very well. One is the medium and one is the hard. With the hard you have more stability, better grip on the edge. But you know, for durability, both tires, they 22 laps, so we don't expect any drop from both. And for the front choice, everybody's with the grip. And the tendency is KTM, Honda with the hard. You have a 50% with the medium rear and 50% with the hard.
Thank you, Piero.
Okay, you're welcome.
Who's going to be taking top spot here today? Fabio Quartararo, race winner here earlier this year, but 7th on the grid for the world champion.
Who can tame MotoGP's ultimate Quartararo, their first ever Premier Class world champion. Still plenty to fight for, though. The team championship up for grabs. Yamaha.
25 laps coming up around this 4.5 kilometre roller. It's underway. Not a great start from Pecco Bagnaia. Miller immediately capitalises and goes through. Miller leads into turn 1.
Yeah, not the launch that Bagnaia wanted, but it looks like he's immediately fought back to the line, but he leads through turn 3.
Joan Mir immediately up the inside of Martin into turn 3, the Suzuki man.
Zarco or Martin in that first sector. We've got a yellow flag early on here in the second sector.
It's twice in the space of 2 weeks, unfortunately, for the Tech 3 rider. Here comes Joan Mir having a look immediately up the inside. That was lovely. Through
the second sector, he's nearly half a second ahead of the former world champion Mir already.
Yeah, brilliant start then. It wasn't great turn 1.
Hasn't been great either for the world champion. There he is, Fabio Quartararo, started P7. He's lost from a career best 8th on the grid. Likewise, LECUONA, who's had a really strong start from 10th. He was already up inside that tap,
so a lot of places made up. He's getting buoyed on by the home fans.
Well, he had to make those elbows sharp and use them as well. First lap, though, for Pecco Bagnaia. Not the greatest launches, but he leads from Joan Mir. Miller there in 3rd.
Turn 1, and they've lost ground. That allows Johan Zarco through.
Aleix Espargaro's got in really, really hot there. Oliveira now, what a start to this home Grand Prix for him. He's up 7 places to 10th.
Brilliant, brilliant. And he means business, Miguel. The race winner here, of course, last year, Binder, his teammate, has also made progress. He's up quite a few.
Last place.
4/10 of a second the lead for Pecco Bagnaia, then number 63 ahead of Joan.
In the breakaway early on here, Miller has fallen nearly 6/10 of a second behind Joan Mir there in 3rd place. It's been a superb first couple of laps as well for Alex Marquez. Credit to him. He said he could, true to his word, the Spaniard, Moto 2 and Moto 3 world champion in the past, 5th place.
Dropping down the hill around turn Vera, just a couple of places back as we cross the line. Mir's doing very well here to get his claws into Pecco Bagnaia.
17 of the championship, the penultimate round of the championship, and the man who won the title last year has still not led a lap about the challenge, the threat of Pecco Bagnaia directly ahead of him. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, first sub 140, then from
and Jorge Martin.
Yeah, the problem is Jack Miller and Jorge Martin are going to be so difficult. Marquez has got a bit of a conundrum here. Quartararo's recovered after not a sluggish start, but not the best.
The rookie, how long can he last fitness-wise? Just behind him, Alex Marquez. We're on board with Miller now, looking back.
Bigger, unfortunately, for the Australian. It's now up to nearly 8/10 of a second now into this final sector.
30 into 40. And now just clipping the curve on the exit there with
some tips to Bagnaia and Mir about how they could better or run a better line through that final corner. Now then Mir, he's down the scary plunge downhill into the first corner. At the moment, Jack Miller, he's got a lot of company people trying to pick their way through. Now then Alex Marquez up the inside of Martin into turn 3.
Oh,
brilliant this
well.
by the
retaliating on Alex Marquez down into turn 5, but he's wide.
Yeah, he's going to run in wide. Marquez should.
Well, this is close into turn 7, and Martin gives way. No surprise given what happened there to Martin. Corner turn 9.
That little exchange there between Martin and Marquez has certainly made life a little. That little joust between the two Spaniards behind him means that Miller's now 7/10 clear of Alex.
Around turn 13, there is Jorge Martin just up ahead of him. Going to get a good view here of how much he closes around turn 15. He's got good acceleration as well, but he just can do nothing about the top speed. Oh, but the rocket ship underneath him powers him to the fastest lap of the race.
Absolutely nothing in terms of lap times between the two. Martin.
Around turn 3, on board with the leader, climbing uphill into turn 4. Bagnaia, and there's Miller, and now Alex Marquez in 4th. This is the best trim we've seen Alex Marquez in all season long, and that was quite a nervy character at the best of times.
I've got some bad news for you, Lucho. We've still got 21 laps to go here for you to watch your podium so brilliantly.
Over the crest then, Joan Mir so often has to come the tyres just to get himself into podium contention.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a stressful mission on a Sunday, isn't it? Bagnaia has not been able to get away.
Further behind these guys, a couple of riders who are going pretty well. Miguel quicker than LECUONA and Pol Espargaro. I've had Rins as well. He's starting to get into it on the middle of that 4th row in 11th.
Alex Rins on the previous lap was one of only 4 men in the 39s.
Yeah, best race lap set by Rins last year as we round turn 2 and look back to Mir at turn 3.
Marquez was a couple of tenths quicker than Jack Miller in that battle for 3rd place. That's why at the moment Jorge Martin's place.
Yeah, he's not able to get quite on terms there with Alex Marquez or Jorge Martin.
Zarco, he's 1.1 seconds further back on the second of the Pramac Ducatis. Then LECUONA having a strong ride, can row in 6. He's dropped back down to 9th. Oliveira still rounding out the top 10.
It's worth remembering, actually, I think he was on a medium, so this bodes well.
Yeah, and that was a shock and a surprise, because traditionally in these cooler winds blowing around this Portimao circuit, rear tyre temperature has been an issue for Honda for the hard rear tyre, and that influenced Pol Espargaro's decision as well. But unfortunately for Pol Espargaro, it hasn't quite worked.
We're on board here with Miguel Oliveira in 10th. He's looking up at Pol Espargaro on the approach to turn 1. Who's that guy?
Yeah, that's out in the car park. He's nearly on one of the golf resorts surrounding this Algarve International Circuit there, isn't he? So, well,
this pace that Bagnaia is setting is hard to live with at the moment for Joan Mir. He's just lost enough. Great riding. Well, Massimo Meregali said, didn't he, down on the grid, that he felt like Quattararo.
Decisive break, it could well be. He's already in the first 2 splits on this current lap 7, taken at the moment being exerted on Mir from Miller. Now that was really, really wide, wasn't it, from LECUONA? He did the tarmac runoff.
Here's your helicopter view then of your race leaders. Zarco is in 7th, Pol Espargaro 8th, Miguel Oliveira 9th, Rins now up to 10th, Bastianini 11th as well. Been sensational for the last month or so.
Pol Espargaro is getting some temperature and the fastest man on circuit on that lap 7.
Yes, on that last lap. Oh, we got somewhere. Who have we lost? Or has someone just gone straight on? You're looking here at turn 3, turn 1. It's a fast place to crash.
Yeah, he was already a bit battered and bruised after a warm-up. Early part of the braking zone, tricky downhill there into the first corner. So not the outcome.
Quattararo struggling to fish his way through on Pramac Ducati rider Jorge Martin, who you feel might fade.
And then, of course, almost impossible for Quattararo to have any hope of, well, he won't. A Yamaha just can't get close enough to then attack Martin on the brakes into turn 1.
Here's a replay of the start then. Brilliant from him. And this already made life very difficult, didn't it, for Quattararo? He lost a
39.760 from Miller, a 39.799 from Alex Marquez. Just over half a second between them.
Oh, the Repsol Honda in 8th place.
Well, the problem is he's slipped 4.7. He's not making any significant inroads towards challenging his compatriot for that top 6.
When you cast your minds back to our race here in April, from 11th on the grid, he came through to take a fabulous 2nd place. 7 tenths his gap back to Joan Mir, with Miller still in 3rd, equally about 7 tenths clear of Adam.
Certainly on this lap it is. Jack Miller has just, for the first time in a good few laps, a second. So Miller starting to reel back in the Suzuki man ahead of him.
As you exit turn 15 onto the home straight, and Quattaro's got no chance of catching Martin to go.
Some excellent work being done off the podium at the moment by Alex Marquez and Jorge Martin. They've just set a slightly quicker man. Zarco now is the fastest man on circuit, and that is
Teams Championship and the Constructor Championship are still open with 2 races to go right now. This win, the final race next weekend. LECUONA has been given a track limits warning. Well, we saw one of them quite clearly.
Back in the groove in a 1:39.705 as he tries to claw back 1 position. It's Bastianini.
A lot of riders out on circuit who are kind of anticipating there potentially being a big drop in tyres later. Settle yourself down, save your tyres as much as possible, which is why it's almost a bit stalemate out on
sector to complete lap number 10. There was still 15 laps remaining, and Quartararo now. Miller and Marquez again, they exchange PB laps. Excellent stuff this.
In Misano, good move then from Fabio Quartararo. He had to get it done, but he's wide, and on the cutback, Martin pounces.
A factory Ducati, you've got to take big risks, and sometimes you're going to have to run in hard. He's trying to break up the rhythm here for Martin to snatch that place back. Was that Miller just out a little bit wide on the exit of turn number 5 there?
Did look like it. 463, Pekka Bagnaia. Back to Joan Mir. Over the Rins has made another place up.
Yeah, that was, it looked like there was a mistake coming out of turn between them. That gap has come right down now. What a ride this is. What a ride. It's from Lucio Cecchinello right now, although I think it will probably be busted off the scale.
Out of turn 50, where the fast laps are coming in, Alex Marquez has got some slipstream here on the Ducati and pulls out alongside, not a lot wrong. See a 16th different rider on the podium here in MotoGP.
Incredible. What happened to Miller as the MotoGP legend, double MotoGP world champion, Ducati's one and only pole position. Didn't get the best of starts, didn't get the whole shot, but quickly attacked his teammate Jack Miller. Italian went.
Alex Marquez just showing that if you can get yourself a bit further up on the grid and make attention.
Yeah, that problem for Miller on the last lap cost him 0.6 of a second. The mistake that he made at turn 5.
Champions, if things stay the way they are. We're not even half race distance yet, though. So try and retaliate back past Alex Marquez. This is the view from the Ducati garage. Davide Tardozzi and Paolo
Triple Crown in 2021 if it stays as is. Now then, what's happened here to Fabio Quartararo?
It happened earlier in the weekend, didn't it, on Friday?
Yeah, you can see there, Johan Zarco snatches Quartararo a whole bunch of time. That lap was a 1:41.0.
1 point here right now. That will be a statistic that's changed. No one's got anything to offer Pekka Bagnaia ahead of Joan Mir. But will things change as we get to the closing stages? Parked up next to him in the car park, didn't we, the other day, actually?
Yeah, absolute motorsport legend, no question. Pekka Bagnaia, well, there has been a couple of times this year when he's made big mistakes. Last time out, the mistake in Misano on that hard front tyre, which threw away his faint hopes. It was all
the race, isn't it, Matt? Because also, if you cast your minds back to Misano 1, Bagnaia was in a similar position, and he did off Fabio Quartararo. So if Joan Mir, who in the past has come on strong at the end for the Italian out front,
it certainly looks very comfortable, doesn't it, from the outside, Steve? This is an intriguing battle brewing here. Moto3 World Championship rivals, of course, who could forget their final round title chase in a moment. The battle for the final podium place in the Premier Class here in Portimao is going the way of Alex Martin. To get himself up 5 spots into this third he had a big crash, a fast crash this morning a bit, but he's been awesome so far.
Yeah, he really has. He really has. He's got some work though, hasn't he? Ahead of a hungry Jack Miller, who's overdue one. Still, Fabio Quartararo planning out the way he wanted it to at all.
The alarm bell started to ring yesterday. Same spec tyre that he used so brilliantly here to win the race back in April. It just didn't work. He felt like he wasn't there yesterday, though, for Fabio Quartararo. And at the moment, it hasn't been there today either, has it? Although 3.5. Now, that is only a tenth slower than your race leader, Bagnaia.
Yep. The trouble is, though,
to find a way through on any Ducati, let alone 3 of them.
As you look back at this battle further behind, the KTM.
Yeah, guys, we've seen before when Quartararo has to fight in a battle, you know, bikes in front, he overheats the front tyre. It's happened before, and then starts to lock it, which we saw on...
Thanks very much for your thoughts there. We're looking here at a couple of Italians. Morbidelli, as you might imagine, is struggling fitness-wise. It's the battle for 15th place, the last of the points. In the meantime, I don't know if Joan Mir made a mistake on this little bit of history so far this weekend.
They do indeed, yeah. Bagnaia just stretching his high 139s. There's only one other rider at the moment currently lapping this Portimao circuit in the fantastic job in 8th place. At the moment, it's quite a lonely 8th. He's a second behind Quartararo. Can he get himself into Tararo? So unusual not to see him immediately challenging for the top places, but what has been dominance has so often come from
his qualifying, Matt, and when he's quite, you know, he's all hard.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you've got people already on the line that you want, your optimum racing line, then it's going to be very... It's got great braking stability, and if you're not close enough to tack on the brakes, well, the Ducati's going to out-drag himself inside that top six. This man is having a fantastic Sunday here on the under a second to Joan Mir in the first sector. Mir has responded though in sectors 2 and 3. You just want, because he's got the hard rear tyre in. The only man in the top 5 that's gone for that hard option. Now, will that
gap on that last lap as well? Miller was the fastest rider on circuit in 4th, so he's now Quattararo in the hunt for 7th place. Quattararo still not able to get through on the Pramac Ducatis. We're getting closer to that huge. It's not going to be jumping off a cliff or anything like that, but now is the time where the tyre
just faces down at LCR Honda, of course. Their last podium, I guess, would have been Cal Crutchlow, wouldn't it, back in 2019?
On board with Quattararo.
We saw how good Jack Miller was late on here in a fight against Frankie Morbidelli last year, Portimao, and he delivered good late speed in that battle with the Italian. He'll need it here. In fact, Alex Marquez, that looks like a pretty decent gap there, doesn't it? Yeah, it's nearly half a second.
Although Pecco Bagnaia, so the gap down to 2.1 across the line. We'll keep tracks on that. In the meantime, Quattararo, the Repsol Honda rider for company very soon.
Yeah, Paul Espargaro just was groove. Once he did feel like the grip was there was stability from the rear tyre on that Repsol Honda. 9/10 of a second behind Fabio Quattararo, so still in with a remote shout, you've got to say, of maybe...
No podium since 3rd in Aragon. His best result of the year, of course, came when he was 5th on the grid. He finished 2nd.
18 starts. Now look how close Jack Miller was there, right on Alex Marquez's rear tyre through Finchman. Quattararo's got through on Johann Zarco.
Miller, can he get it well? Let's stay on board with Jack Miller over the hump across the start-finish straight. Surely he's going to have a look down into turn 1. Has been successful, but he does go wide. He can't make it stick, and through goes Alex Marquez
on the podium. Alex Marquez versus Jack Miller. I feel like I've been put in a time machine. First podium in 10 races.
Oh, there's a tiny mistake there from Alex Marquez. He just about hold for the podium, aren't they?
You've got to give enormous credit as well to the man in 5th place, Jorge Martin, keeping Quattararo and Zarco at bay behind him.
The problem that Alex Marquez has got here is just going to keep happening, because whilst Miller is a couple of tenths behind Alex Marquez, it's going to take some energy and some great defensive work here from Alex Marquez if he's to hold on.
0.3 seconds behind your race leader Bagnaia, but a couple of seconds and more ahead of this pair. The crest, he's anxious to use that top speed advantage to try and get his hooks into Marquez. Not close enough.
Through, as you would expect on Fabio Quattararo. He's finding life incredibly frustrating behind the 2 Ducatis, and now they have to fancy his chances of a P5 if he can get through.
Epic performance this though by Martin.
That scared the life out of him, you know, earlier in April. I mean, that was almost a career-ending crash.
He really come here to a track which left him so battered and bruised. What a difference a week makes. Podium in stunning fashion in just his 2nd start in MotoGP, and then it all came crashing back down to earth.
13, no. He stays put for now. Just a little bit further up the road. Here we go again, the final turn. Let's see how he's getting on. These guys have just cut into that. Jack Miller's not going to be far away from Alex Marquez into turn 1. In fact, you can see
pressed out of turn number 15, and he just moved alongside in the slipstream by Jorge Martin. Line there. Jorge Martin didn't appreciate that one, did he? All's fair in love and war, Jorge.
Joan Mir through goes Jack Miller. They're side by side here. The Ducati man is back in 3rd.
Is that a pivotal moment?
He's gone down. He very rarely makes blunders. That's the first crash of the year.
The first time we've seen a successful 2021 World Championship campaign, but the start of his reign as Alex Rins crash when he was fighting Quattararo here 7 months ago.
Just slightly offline.
Yeah, the king of MotoGP.
That's costly in terms of the team championship really as well. Jack Miller went through on Alex Marquez and has made the breakaway.
It looks like he's broken half a second. That little mistake made by Alex Marquez. Confirmation there, first DNF in round 17 of the championship.
Fastest man on the circuit, and it's Giannini and Oliveira.
Can't keep qualifying there on the 4th row. Just asked Joan brilliantly on that front row start. Now then, What's that gap between these two? Alex Mark.
Rug of the shoulders here from Fabio Quartararo as he makes his way back into the Yamaha garage. Some thoughts on the crash for
Fabio wants some more speed, some top speed, you know, because as soon as he can't start take risks, just like Mir, we've seen it a lot from Mir this year, take risks and he's back to where he started, you know. Frustration, I'm sure that's what's happening.
Alex Marquez closes once more on Jack Miller.
Yeah, just when we thought Miller had broken Alex Marquez, back at the start of this fantastic title-winning season for Fabio Quartararo. But it's exactly why he has been crowned a world champion with 2 races to go. This man, though, has been operating on a different consistency and speed from Pecco Bagnaia. That is just awesome. That's why he's been 40 flat. Terrible stuff.
I know it's all ifs and buts, Matt, but I mean, if this goes the way it's looking like it's going to go, because we'd have been potentially going all the way down to Valencia with Quartararo and Bagnaia. I mean, it is ifs and buts, and it doesn't matter. It's done. Look at Jack Miller's front tyre there on that Ducati into turn 13. It was hopping and skipping and bouncing around. Oh,
somebody's gone down.
Someone has, but no
In
one from the
4.
top 3 or 4. It's Miguel. Miguel Oliveira has crashed out of 10th place, the Portuguese rider, to end what has been
riders down. Yeah, instant at turn 13 and 2 KTMs on the deck.
Alex Marquez is first podium of the year, and Martin is, Zarco is closing on them.
He might be picking up the pieces here, John.
In Portugal, as potentially as a result of the incident between Miguel Oliveira. Flag has come out here in Portugal, and we are way past distance in terms of this being declared, and Bagnaia taking 3rd place. It will go back a lap, but Miller was still 3rd at that point, but congratulations to them.
Yeah, Yamaha denied the triple crown. Ducati retained the constructor battle, but you can see Oliveira fans. Now then, let's see what happened here. This is at turn 13, LECUONA and Miguel Oliveira. LECUONA.
That looks like Ica's crash, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that was Ica LECUONA's fault. You can see the frustration. And what that has done, it's actually pushed Brad Binder up into 10th place.
Let's go down into pit lane. I'm sure a delay.
Please give us your thoughts on that amazing ride from Pecco.
I'm really for more.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to Gigi Dall'Igna and to Pecco Bagnaia. Just a simply perfect weekend from the Italian.
Yeah, awesome job by Pecco Bagnaia. The final podium place was winding up to be quite a spectacle.
That's good to see that. Just for now there as well, but good to see that he's sat up. All riders are conscious. That's the most important thing. I agree, Matt. Yes, Alex Marquez time. Pleased for Jack Miller, because I think having started on the front row so many times of late, he was.
Well, the best possible news is that LECUONA and Oliveira, as we saw there, they are both league today. And what a way to bounce back from the bitter disappointment of losing the championship to that crash of that result. Either way, Alex Marquez, that's the best we've seen of him by some. MotoGP yesterday set himself up for this podium charge. That was the best we've seen by a mile for, wasn't it, last October? Great job by that man as well. No wonder he's getting huge congratulations from Oliveira. Has been able to clamber to his head, didn't he, from Ica LECUONA.
Let's pop down and hear from a man I'm sure is gutted in one way.
What a ride from Alex Marquez, so close to the podium.
Very happy. We are so far without achieving any particular results, and finally we show head down and full gas for the next race as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Points for the LCR Domitsu team.
Well, it was the Ducati factory 1-2 on the grid. Pretty good weekend for the Ducati Lenovo team, and they are the Constructor Championships, retaining that crown. And GP career was done and dusted. All the fallout of his early split from the factory